Hello everybody and welcome back to Middle-earth, somewhat earlier than I usually play. Yes, that's right, I'm back in Silmarillion Total War, this time playing a multiplayer battle against one of the mod devs. And this is quite a short battle, but it took 45 minutes to play out. The reason for that is because my internet connection at home is not great. The story actually starts with an absolute blunder on my part because I gave us the wrong amount of funds. We're supposed to test with 15,000 money on each side. But it moves really quickly, so I'm gonna operate on much slower speed than it actually plays out. The fact that it kept on stuttering and moving so slowly while we were playing actually allowed both of us it's not an advantage that either of us had over the other, but it is an advantage that made us both like we both had the advantage of being able to play as if we were thinking at superhuman speed. It's like if I didn't tell you that, then it would look like we were both ridiculously overcompetent in some ways. At least it would look like I was ridiculously overcompetent, but it's not like I was actually giving those commands in full real time. No. It's honestly astonishing that he had the patience to play it as long as it took. However, as you can see here, I did set up, not super competently, but I was able to identify the best hill and put my troops on it, and that does not count for nothing, okay? And here we've begun the battle. I gave myself 4 units of mangonel. Oh, playing is Unnumbered, by the way. Morgoth. Let's up the speed just a little bit. Half speed. Rex was playing as Doriath. I basically fully expected him to utterly steamroll me, because elves have really good units. Not just in this mod, basically across all iterations of Middle-earth. That is a lot more damage than I noticed my catapults actually doing. If I had known that we could do something like that, I might have given myself even more. We had some fire drakes over here. They did basically nada. Not gonna lie, the fire drakes, they seem to me like a bunch of hot air. They look really cool, and they do jack all. Look, some of these elves are getting up. Pathetic. And we're getting utterly trashed by thrown axes. Rex sent his heavy cavalry, the mounted company of Region, over here on the left side, and I sent my wolf riders of Unnumbered to counter those. Not the best wargs, honestly. Kind of crappy, actually, but they're like the only cavalry unit that Unnumbered gets, so I grabbed 3 of those, and they really underperformed for the role they serve, but they at least did some good stuff. There was good service given by them. The determining factors of this battle basically were everything. If one thing had been different, if I hadn't been able to grab a hill, or if I had different army composition, or if Rex had been a little bit more flanky with his units, then this whole battle could have played out totally differently. Okay, watch this. This is pathetic. Yeah. See that? Our dragons are just dying. Just absolutely lying down and dying. They basically did nothing. That's one thing. But like, if I had given myself another catapult unit instead of those dragons, I would have gotten... Like, the fire would have killed more, and they would have killed more in melee. So that is one thing that could have been changed for the better on my part. Over here, Cav versus Cav. The Wolf Riders, they're doing okay, but I didn't think so in the moment, so I sent my Balrogs, which is where my general was, over there to help out with that. And of course, the catapults just continued shooting the whole time. At this point, we have lost 1% of our troops and killed 5% of his. Throughout much of the battle, the balance of power will continue to stay roughly the same. The difference between us will stay like a couple, like lower single digits as casualties mount on both sides. The reason why okay, I'm moving my halberds forward here. The reason why I put... Well, first of all, I did see the tournament rules in the Discord, but I thought that they were old rules for an old tournament. But if I had just taken a little more time to verify, I would have given us the right amount of funds, and we both would have had smaller armies, and the results would have been more useful to the team. Sadly, there wasn't much to be learned because we had 5,000 too many funds. I was trying to test out my internet connection to see how well it would hold up, and it did not hold up well. Like I said, it took 45 minutes to play out this 6-minute battle. Here we start to see the way that this battle is going to go. My halberds are fighting downhill in formation, and he just sent his infantry straight into them. Over here, same deal. Now, these are very good elven units. They are going to, and I'm sending my wargs around here to flank them. They are going to do very good work, but they are up against a formation on a hill, and things are like that. That's going to have no consequences whatsoever. None at all. None. Not a bit. Okay. A lot of corpses over here. We lost a lot of wargs. I believe... Yeah, this is shortly after he messaged and said, "Dude, pull your Balrogs back, you don't want your general to die." At first I was like, is he trying to game the meta and get me to make a mistake? But after I thought about it for just a second, I was like, yeah, that's actually pretty good advice, because if my general goes down, all these guys are going to break. So I did, in fact, listen to him and pulled my general back a little bit. And I also moved these halberds out of their more boxy formation into a broader, wider formation. And he's sending his elves on this side forward to meet that. Over here, my halberds are getting chewed through slowly by the Donath and Mablung. And I completely missed what I did with the wargs here. I did in fact manage to get around and flank them. I was originally going to try and flank these guys, but the spears turned around and faced them. So I was like, okay, I gotta come over here and attack these ones instead. And look, we routed one of their units. That is in fact what happens when you charge with cavalry into a unit's back. I think I sent them next at these marksmen of Region, and did not have great results with that, but, you know, we killed a few of them. And then this happened. On this side, yes! Look what he did. He sent his warriors of Region right into the face of our iron-shod halberdiers. That's a little bit ridiculous. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea, but he did it. These guys are just standing here waiting. Our shield wall is doing pretty well over here. I've taken... No, I have not. The spear guard... These guys over here, the other spear guard of the Iron Crown, are still in shield wall. I eventually take those out. Look, I flanked these guys with the Balrogs, and they routed, like, right away. Balrogs caused fear. They were fighting uphill. Well, not really that uphill, but into the face of a formation, and they got flanked by Balrogs, like you would run too, okay? Okay. They're out of formation now, and I sent them forward to join these Scourges of Gothmog and Reavers of Anfauglith. Over here, the elves have completely broken my left flank, and they are trying to roll it up, which is the correct thing to try and do. And look, they successfully routed my second unit of iron-shod halberdiers on this flank. At this point, I thought that it was basically over, and Rex had as good as won. However, there's a thing going on here that is going to determine basically the entire battle. And that is that the Mangonel crews have been firing this whole time. That's not really important. They didn't do a whole lot of damage. They did a considerable bit of damage with their missiles, but what they have not been doing is fighting in melee. They are fresh. They are ready to go. They're not as good as just a normal iron-shod legionary unit, because they don't have bannermen. But that doesn't matter, because the elves are tired as fuck. They've been fighting uphill. They've got friends routing... Oh. Look at that. That was cool, wasn't it? But here's the thing. They're getting back up again. Those axes knock us down, but they don't kill a whole lot of us. If that's going on, then that means that, yes, these cavalry. He's got these heavy cavalry left, and I'm chasing them with my halberds. I don't catch them. Shield wall still holding strong. And, like, he's trying to get us a little bit of a flank here, and that is not going so great for him. Everybody here is tired. Over here, not so much. My guys are fresh. Okay, yeah, he charged his heavy cavalry in here, and they killed some of us, but I wish I could pull up their stats here in the middle of a battle replay. I tried, I can't. I don't think this unit has a huge charge stat. If they did, that would have been very different. He could have completely turned the battle around with that charge. But not all heavy cavalry has a high charge stat in this mod, and the fact that these ones don't mattered a lot. But what you'll notice... Okay, I did another flank with my wargs here, and that did some good stuff. But now they are also getting flanked, and they're about to be taken completely out of the fight. They will no longer matter whatsoever. They're wavering, they're winded. And in a second here, as I attempt to pull them out. They're broken. Yes. Gone, gone, gone. Over here, the elves are trying to flank the mangonels. No, they're not trying to. They're successfully flanking the mangonels. But the mangonel crew is still fresh, and they are warmed up. Defeat is a distinct possibility. They're losing troops. Their allies are routing, and now they are running. They are we flanked them. They tried to flank us successfully, and then we successfully flanked them, and they are running. And that is kind of the beginning of the end, because their friends see that happening, and it's the character of the battle is beginning to emerge at this point. Also, where is it? Do they have... No, somewhere he's got a light cavalry unit that just came out of nowhere. I didn't even know that he had it. I, to this moment, have no idea where he even was keeping it. But it's not in play yet. I don't see it anywhere. He's just sending his tired and demoralized mounted company of Region into my fresh and eager mangonel crew. These axemen of the girdle are routing. The Donath and Mablung are running. The shield wall is holding. But Balrogs are doing fine work with the halberdiers on the flank. Here, he does appear to be winning, but his guys are winded and mine are still fresh. That's very... Basically, so much of what determined this battle was just stacking and stacking and stacking modifiers. Okay, here's the light cavalry. I'm still not sure where it came from, but this is where it's coming in. And, I would think that they would be able to get some good stuff going against these legionaries, but they are charging uphill. In this case, both sides are fresh, and they do have spears, and they did manage to do a pretty good charge against us, but now they are caught in melee, and they are still very much just on a hillside, which is to our advantage, and they pull themselves out. That makes sense. That's the logical thing to do. It looks like they only lost one on the charge, honestly. He probably could have done a little more with that cav, but by this point, the rest of the battle is... its character is very much in emergence. My Balrogs are attempting to charge this unit, but it's already routing anyway, so they might as well fight the cavalry. It very much is determined at this point. The balance of power, I've lost 51%, he's lost 69%. Another heroic charge by his light cavalry, but the modifiers are still largely in our favor, especially because so many of his units are routing right now. That is a huge modifier in its own right. And we have arrived at the final moments of this battle when I'm finally, after biting my nails the whole time, able to sit back and think, man, I actually have a really good chance of winning this. It's if things continue the way they have, then I could actually be looking at a win here. And he seems to have come to the same conclusion. And right there, he admitted defeat. There was still some stuff he could have done, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. absolutely flabbergasted that I won. And it was really fun. This was an extremely fun battle for me. I don't think it was as fun for him. He kind of pitched a fit afterward a little bit. Not at me directly, but he tried to convince us that the mangonel crews were broken, that they were too intimidating, that they had some kind of fear factor. But one of the other devs watched the replay 6 times and explained to him over and over how all these modifiers stacked. At first, I was on board. I didn't understand initially why I had done so well, but everything I did in the setup... What do you know about me? You know I'm kind of okay sometimes at defense, horrible at offense, not good at micro, but as I explained at the beginning, the game was stuttering horribly because of my internet connection. We were both able to think at superhuman speed because the game was moving much more slowly than we were. I set up very well, and then he did some flank stuff, and usually that served him very well. But as the battle continued, I just kept on being able to outflank him better and better. The hill continued to serve my purposes. He did rout some of my units. I just stacked morale on morale on morale because being flanked, that's a morale hit. Fighting uphill makes you tired, that's a morale hit. Facing a Balrog is a morale hit. Getting shot by crossbows is a morale hit. I'm pretty sure the fire from the mangonels also caused morale damage. And as for the iron-shod legions that were working the catapults, it really came down to them just being fresh at the end of the battle while everybody else was tired. That led me to set up this battle against the AI, and this time using the correct number of funds, 15,000, and I just gave myself not a Balrog bodyguard. I put my general with the Wretches of Angband, probably the weakest unit on Morgoth's roster. And once again, I gave myself these 4 mangonels, but that's all. The only thing I gave myself. And I gave the AI Doriath basically a bunch of the best unit, and then I filled out with the extra funds some less good units, all infantry, no missiles, and if there were a major intimidation factor from the mangonels, then that should have stacked here just as it would have in the previous battle. But it didn't, because they don't have that. They're not an intimidating unit. They just were fresh at the end of a battle. So here we have the AI absolutely eviscerating me. The Iron-shod legionaries are wavering, shaken. This one's still eager. But yeah, this battle is going considerably less well for me, because the Mangonel crew is not overpowered. It's just that tired troops are underpowered. They do keep fighting longer than I'm accustomed to, because orcs rout very quickly in Divide and Conquer, but it doesn't take that long for them to see the writing on the wall and realize, oh shit, I'm just an Iron-shod legionary up against Doriath elves who are not tired out. There goes our general, and that's it. Bye-bye. So, yeah, the catapults are not overpowered. I just performed better than expected in that first battle. It was fun, though, and I hope that if I bring the funding back down to what it's supposed to be at 15,000, then maybe my internet connection will be able to engage properly, because I definitely do want to play more multiplayer battles. That was some of the most fun I have had playing Total War in years. So I really hope I'll be able to continue participating. And if you want to beta test this mod as well, I believe they are still accepting beta testers. So you should definitely join the Discord. I will link that in the description, as well as my own Discord, but that's less important. Anyway, Silmarillion Total War, it's fun, and there will probably be more of it coming out on this channel. So look to me at first light on every Saturday and some of the other days of the week, and until then, play well.